As a yoga teacher, one of the most common requests you probably get are people asking to work on their shoulders. And while we're taught a whole bunch of different ways and poses to help the shoulders, probably in our teacher training, there's some things that we're not always taught. In this Anatomy for Yoga Teachers little quick tip, I'm going to teach you the one movement that you want to bring into every single one of your classes that will actually make a huge difference for everyone. I'm Brea Johnson of Heart and Bones Yoga, and if you want to teach yoga that's more inclusive, that's anatomy informed, you want to have better cues, understand the body more, well, you are in the right place. So make sure you subscribe, comment, share, all the usual things, and then let's get into our shoulders. If you asked anybody in your classes, and probably yourself, where the shoulders are, we're all gonna probably point to here. And while that's not wrong, there's more to the shoulders than just right here. So quick anatomy rundown. This, what we're pointing to here, is the glenohumeral joint. That's where the humerus, the head of the arm bone, so that's your upper arm bone, is called the humerus. The head of the humerus glides and moves into what's called the glenohumeral joint. So while that's predominantly considered the shoulder, another way to think about your shoulders is thinking about it as a complex, the shoulder complex, because there's more than one joint in the shoulders. So let's do another quick rundown here. We have another joint that's very similar and close to the glenohumeral joint. It's called the AC joint, or the acromioclavicular joint, and that's going to be your collarbone, and where your collarbone meets the shoulder and the glenohumeral joint, and it can help move the arm. Another one is the sternoclavicular joint. That's the SC, you can call it. That's where your sternum meets your collarbone, and this is a really cool little joint. You might not have even known it's been moving. Every time you've been lifting your arm up, you've been lifting and using this SC joint here. But the focus for today's class, we're going to be focusing on the scapula, the shoulder blades, because when we can move our scapula here, the two shoulder blades on the back, everything is better. The world is better, everything is right again. Playful, of course, but the shoulder blades, there's 17 muscles that attach to your shoulder blades, which means there's a lot. There's a lot of muscles that when you move your shoulder blades, you're also moving the arms, the neck, the head, there's all these beautiful muscles that attach and join there. And without having to know all 17 muscles, because as a good yoga teacher, while I'm all about an anatomy, this is what I do here, is help teach us move into an anatomy, know and memorize the names of the muscles, but if you know how the body moves, as a teacher, you're already ahead of the game. So we're going to focus on the shoulder blades and do one of my most simple things. If you've ever done anything with me in Heart and Bones Online, if you've ever taken a class with me, taken a training with me, this is my go, or even any of the classes here on YouTube, this is pretty much my go-to movement for the shoulders because it's that good. So the shoulder blade circles, that's all it is. And I want to, just before you now scroll away or press stop because you're like, shoulder blade circles, well, that's not exciting. It's so exciting. Bear with me, my friends. It seems really underrated and underappreciated, but again, when you can move 17 muscles in one go, why wouldn't you do it? So let's move and learn. This is the best way to learn as yoga teachers. Don't just intellectualize this little tutorial, my friends. Let's move and embody it in our bodies together. Even if you've done this before, notice how it feels today, okay? Your arms, and this is also how you can teach it to your classes. So I'm going to start with a very more in-depth version, and then you can teach a more pared down version to your class as well. So what you gotta do is squeeze your shoulder blades together. So I'll show it from the back here. You retract is the anatomical term. You don't have to say that in your classes. You can say pull the shoulder blades together towards your spine. And protract, we move the shoulder blades away from the spine. Retract, protract apart. So that's the first step. Shoulder blade squeezes, you can call them, where you're simply protracting, retracting. Very mindful that you're not just moving the shoulders, because it looks like the shoulders are moving, but we're initiating the movement from the shoulder blades. This is the most important part to remember. Shoulder blades squeeze, shoulder blades wide. Lead from the shoulder blades, and then the glenohumeral joint and your upper arm bones will follow along. So that's one version of it. If you just did that, that's nice, it's good, but we can make it even more better, which I know is not a great grammatical sentence. Bring those shoulder blades together, and then we're gonna do circles. So let's talk them through. Shoulder blades together, keep them squeezed together as you bring them up to the ears, as squeezed together as you can. Protraction wide, your ears or the shoulders are still up. Shoulder blades wide and down. Squeeze together all the way up, shoulder blades protracted down. So what you're really trying to do is get the biggest range of motion that you can with your shoulder blades so that you're really utilizing all of those beautiful muscles that attach to them and really keep them on your back. Circle in one direction, you would do more of that of course, but here now you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades again, and then we're going to retract them and move them down. Down and wide, wide and up until they can't go anymore, and then squeeze them together again. Down, squeeze, down. And notice how slow we're going. You can slow it down even more. That's really good for the brain to understand and attune to the movement. But that's the shoulder blade circles, my friends. While it seems so small, so kind of like, you know, not as exciting, it's so important for your classes. It's a beautiful place to warm up in a shoulder focused class, in a non-shoulder focused class. I love integrating this right at the beginning of my classes, right after we breathe and focus and center. Going into some shoulder blade circles is so good because it's going to free up the neck. It's going to help improve the mobility of the shoulders of your arms. People will be able to do the movements and poses that you're teaching in the class with more ease. It's a beautiful, and then the extra bonus part, of course, it's a beautiful mindfulness practice. This is also why it's really nice at the beginning of the class after doing the breathing and centering, because then you can take that more focused attention and have people really notice, not just do the movements, but can they visualize? Feel, can they sense what it feels like to move the shoulder blades around in all directions? You can invite them to see if one shoulder blade seems to move a little bit differently, a little slower than the other. So it's a beautiful practice of embodying the experience of your shoulder blades. And of course, helps mobility. So I hope this little anatomy quickie got you excited to move and to teach and to bring this into every single one of your classes. If you have suggestions for more quick anatomy tips or any other anatomy questions, put them into the comments and we can make a new video for you in the future. Or just leave a comment to let me know if you already teach this or if you have anything else. Thank you for being here and happy teaching, my friends.